1898 का law है।
Good evening, namaste to one and all. Today we have come together for a very, very important discussion, and I would like to welcome Miss Sukriti Kashyap ji, who is a BA LLB from Amity University, Noida, and she's a specializes in environmental laws. And so, welcome, Sukriti ji. Pleasure to have you. Can you hear me?
Yes, actually the voice is echoing and it's coming twice.
Oh, oops. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can hear you twice.
Oh, that's not a very comforting thing. Maybe it has to do with my phone. Not sure. Okay. So please tell me. I will put myself on mute, and I hope that will help you. Please tell me about what is this law about, and what is it that we're going to discuss? Just briefly about the proposed government law for live animal import and export bill 2023.
Sure. Actually, your voice is echoing, and I'm not able to hear much of what you.
Um, I'm not sure how to fix this. Why don't you guys carry forward the discussion? Kamlesh ji is also online. Namaste, Kamlesh ji.
Namaste, Kamlesh.
Yeah, namaste. Tell me, madam. Yeah.
Ji.
Uh,
So today we're
Scrutiny,
gonna.
sorry, I could not call you yesterday. I'm sorry. Yes, I just forgot.
No problem, sir. So today we are doing this live to understand the government's proposed live animal export import bill 2023. I want to just start off with what is the historical context? How many have live export been a part of our legal system, or
Kamlesh, are you also facing the same problem?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Are you also facing the same problem that Shivaliji's voice is coming again and again? The same
No,
symptoms
no,
is
no, 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 no. I'm not facing that. To me, it is clear.
okay. In my case, I'm hearing whatever you are saying again and again.
okay, Sukriti ji, I think you can ignore that and try and just focus on the discussion.
But by the way, Shoni, can you please repeat?
Yeah. So we just wanted to understand. Okay, once more, Dr. S. Venkatesh has joined us from Tamil Nadu. He's also a legal expert and a Go Sevak. So welcome, sir. Ji. So let's start.
Shivali, 1 second only. This lighting is okay.
Yeah, yeah, all good. All good.
Okay.
So let's start the discussion. This is regarding the government's proposed live animal import and export bill 2023. If any of you, since you all come from legal understanding and background, could explain to a layman, what it entails and what is the historical context.
Yeah. Thank you, Shivali. Uh, your question is about the legalities of live animal export. Is it so?
Yeah, first of all, the historical context of exporting live animals in India. How has it been? And what is it that new thing that the proposed bill is expected to bring?
Okay. 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 Now see the historical uh, live animal export was going on since last around 42 years. That is basically mainly the goats and sheep from the tuna port of Kutch, that is near the Kanda Port Trust, which is now the new name is Deen Dayal Port Trust. It comes under, and it was a dedicated port for the export of the live animals. Only the one business was there. Now, but there I think around 13 lakh 60,000 goat chain ships on an average were exported every year to the this Gulf countries. Now, thereafter, you see this a lot of illegalities were found in that particular export. What we found in 2018 and 19, that there are these animals are going without any proper inspection, health inspection, vaccinations, quarantine facility, and whatever the AQCS, animal quarantine laws hai, certification service ke animal quarantine certification service that works under the Ministry of Commerce, Government of India, and also Animal Husbandry Ministry. So their laws were floated blanketly, and each mechanized vessel, that was a that was not automatic vessels, but there was a manual vessel. It's called the do, and mechanized vessel were carrying around 1600 to 2400 animals in one ship, and lot of mortalities were there. At the same time, we found there are a lot of anti-national activities also. Those though were not having at that time a GPS system or anything. They once it leave the Indian water boundary, then they can they also used to go to the other countries for other activities. We represented to the government about the illegalities, and there is no inspection of the health. Even the diseased animals were rampantly going. So then with constant representation, we just came to understand that the government is coming up with some rules about shipping of the animals. There were very stringent rules, because the government also found that there are some other anti-national activities were also involved. Like money laundering and fake currency notes, and smuggling of gold and everything, and even to the extent of bioterrorism. So the government came with the very stringent rules about the shipping of the animals, and it ultimately it stopped in the July 2020. That was and since July 2020, no animal were exported, except some flight used to go carry the animals, around 1400 animals in one flight during the Eid festival. So that was the historical perspective about the animals. And now the recent bill is about exporting the all the animals, that is kettles, then bovine animals, bovide animals, buffaloes, bullocks, swine, then donkeys, even the dogs, cats, all the animals, camels, all the animals, they sought to get the permission through these rules from the Indian public about exporting all these animals, importing as well as exporting. That is a new act is likely to come out of this particular proposal. That is the livestock and livestock product importation and exportation act 2023. The name of proposed act is, and at present it is in the form of the bill. So they are planning to, or they're envisaged to export all these live animals through the India. And those animals are the main problem with this particular export. The except goat, sheep, and pigs, all rest of the animals are at present in exempt policy of 2022, and prior to those all policies were kept it all these animals in the restricted category. The cow and progeny was in prohibited category. Goat, sheep, and pigs were the free exportable category, and rest of the all under the restricted. Now with this bill, the restricted category will go away, and all the animals will be freely exportable. So this is what is the bill says, and they have also changed the definition of animal, this livestock. Now
Yeah.
they term it as a commodity, which is a very very dangerous, and it's a disastrous for the life of the animals. because it will be treated as a commodity, and the commodity means it is a tradable item, something to buy and sell, give and take. It's a all the products which is a live animal product like meat, bone, blood, and this eggs, milk can be the commodity, but the live cannot be the commodity. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because in our culture, we regard Pashu Dhan, and
Yeah.
these are sentient beings which must be treated like that. So I would like to also bring in the views of Dr. Venkatesh and Sukriti ji about this commoditization. Because for the first time, livestock is being called as a commodity. So, what are your views on this?
ओके, डॉक्टर वेंकटेश, आप इसको लेना चाहेंगे या फिर मैं बात कर लूँ इस बारे में अभी?
Yeah, I think like Shahji said, it's a dangerous development for explicitly mentioning it, as a commodity, But from a legal jurisprudence point of view, the more contemporary English jurisprudence which we have been following for past 200 years and which is there, currently, which is devoid of our cultural and traditional understanding. From the legal jurisprudence point of view, all animals have been treated as a property, movable property in the jurisprudence. So it's nothing new in that sense, but to make it explicitly in the bill, like what he has said, is a unwelcome development. But there is conceptually in the jurisprudence point of view, these animals have been treated as property only in the British system, and which is the case in our system also. But like Shivaliji said, traditionally we never treated them as properties. We never treated them as commodities. But legal framework in which we are currently entangled, I would say, unfortunately all the animals is treated as a property only. So that's one thing. But one thing I would like to add, which is captured very well in the G's letter, is the timing of this bill plus the timeline they have proposed, which is hardly 10 days to get the comments and from public, which is a clear non-compliance of how a bill has to be you know uh, developed. Definitely there is some other undercurrent going on, which is camouflaged and came up as this bill, which on the face of it may sound not that dangerous, but what are the rules they are going to frame afterwards, we have to watch out for it. Because if, well, from my understanding of the bill as such, there is no dangerous provisions in the bill, but things can evolve very badly from the bill, because the rule making, what kind of rules they are going to frame, which this bill will allow, that we have to watch out for and be vigilant about it. So that's my initial take on this.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh. Sukriti ji.
Yeah. So with respect to commodities, of course, I'm aligned with Kamlesh ji and Shivali ji that, and to an extent with you also, Dr. Venkatesh, that uh, it cannot be commoditized. All animals cannot be commoditized because एक तरफ तो हम ये बात करते हैं that our culture is the oldest culture and we वासुदेव कुटुंबकम की हम बात करते हैं, और जो भी कंट्री के जब भी लॉज बनते हैं तो उसके म्यूनिसिपल सेंटिमेंट्स को, कल्चर को ध्यान में रखते हुए बनते हैं. Currently what is going on is that 30 years ago we saw a global movement of globalization where economy was getting exchanged, and a lot of economic policies, policies related to technology, when everything was transitioning, because the western world wanted to harness Indian resources. तो इस वजह से हम लोगों ने अपनी बहुत सारी रिसोर्सेज ओपन करी थी और पॉलिसीज उस तरीके से फ्रेम करी थी. आज भी पॉलिसी मेकिंग में काफी लाइजनिंग चलती है बाय मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज so that they can harness our resources to an extent that they've started calling humans as also as resources, human resources. So to what extent are we ready to call ourselves, जब हमने अपने आप को ही रिसोर्स बना दिया तो एनिमल को कमोडिटी बनाने में कोई ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी हमें. सो यहाँ पर मेरा जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है वो ये है दैट अ लॉट ऑफ पॉलिसीज वी आर गैदरिंग देम फ्रॉम द वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड. यूरोपियन यूनियन, कोई भी यूनाइटेड नेशंस, they come up with some kind of policies. We try to derive bits and parts of it and try to make it more municipal, just so the trade can happen. But of course, this is what is happening because all the so-called developed countries want to harness Indian resources. यहाँ पर हमें ये सोचना है कि हमारे लिए ये चीज़ ठीक है कि नहीं है. I'm very clear on this understanding that there is a reason why the world is after Indian resources. It's because they know the value of it. But probably we are not understanding its own value. And the other day we were having discussion with Kamleshji and he pointed out a very important thing, that we traded and gave away our गिर cows to Brazil. इतनी हमने दे दी that गिर cow की इंडिया में कमी हो गई, and then we had to ask some of it back. And we need to understand that every animal has its function, and nature does not work in parts. Nature has its own laws, which are much more transcended and evolved than human understanding and what we cut out on paper. So I know it can sound philosophical, but this is true, and we all know it in our hearts that Indian laws are getting in Indian culture first got influenced, but now Indian laws are also getting influenced by the Western world. We need to stop doing that. हम पशुधन बुलाते थे, हमारे को अपना स्टैंड क्लियर रखना चाहिए कि हम पशुधन ही बुलाएंगे. अभी कमोडिटी बुला रहे हैं, पहले रिसोर्स बुला रहे थे, बीच में लाइफ स्टॉक बुलाने लग गए थे. दिस नीड्स टू स्टॉप. एंड सेकेंड पॉइंट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड is that it is also against the sentiments of the Article 25 of the Indian Constitution that gives me as a Hindu the right to practice worshipping of my cattle. एंड जिस कैटल की मैं वर्शिप करती हूँ बीइंग अ हिंदू, और मैं उसकी अगर ट्रेडिंग देख रही हूँ, तो ये तो मेरे सेंटिमेंट्स को हर्ट कर रहा है. तो उस चीज़ का रिस्पेक्ट क्यों नहीं है? एंड दैट नीड्स टू बी हाईलाइटेड इन फ्रंट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. दैट नीड्स टू बी coming through collective consciousness. And this word firstly needs to be eradicated. Property तक तो चलो हमने allow कर दिया, लेकिन commoditization is too harsh a term to be used against the sentient beings. So these would be my thoughts, and I'm open to answering any questions.
Yeah, we have a quick question from Tilotama. She says, how did we export those live cows, please? The ones that went to Brazil. Again, a little slightly historical perspective is needed. But
It
the
was
king of Bhavnagar, right, if I'm not mistaken, in Gujarat, he sent those cows to Brazil. And of course, they developed it quite well. And it's come to a stage that we are having to bring them back, import them from Brazil. Any more comments on this, please?
Your question me?
Yes, please, sir.
No. Sorry, I was just not
Right. So Tilotama is
prepared.
just asking, how did we export those live cows that went to Brazil? Those were also sent live animal export, right?
See, that is a pre-independence scenario. At that time, we gifted there was a Maharaja Krishnaraj of Bhavnagar. He gifted in a good gesture our Brazil cow, and then they out of those Brazil cows, their economy also was rejuvenated. And now they have, as far as I know, I'm not very sure about the figure, but mostly now they have the Gir cow herd of 65,000 in this Brazil they have got. So at that time it was there was no rules and prohibition was there. It was a gift
Like a
and in good gesture,
Godan, you can
like
say.
you say you can godan.
Godan,
Say
yes.
yeah.
Oh, nice. It's such a
In a
beautiful
video,
concept.
yes,
Whenever there would be a higher stocking rate, we would do Gaudan. It would be from one village to
place.
another village, from one relative to another relative. Because as I said, that nature does not work in parts. We see it in parts because we have limited understanding of how it works through our senses. And yes, it was a gift. And why, how come their economy also rejuvenated is because गाय और सॉइल का एक बहुत ही स्ट्रॉन्ग नेक्सस होता है. गाय जमीन को इतना अच्छा कर देती है. एंड इट्स today people have this perspective that cows dung or cows pee from any, we can buy it from the market and we can use it in our land and it will be rejuvenated. No, it cannot be. You have to keep the cow on the land and let that relationship grow. Over a period of time, you will see that everything related to economics around that land will change. And there is pure science behind it that should be discussed in another session.
Yeah,
But
I think this is a very important point, Sukriti. In fact, I was thinking on similar lines that why there was never trading of animals in India in terms of monetary exchange. It always used to be dana, because when you give as a gesture to a person who understands the value of the cow, then he would treat it like her his own, and he would also give respect to your emotions, that you're giving. If we just bring it down to the level of only monetary transactions, it is a deep insult of our culture. And
yes,
even today, I feel even if we send our bulls, if God forbid we have to, I think it's very important that we give it as a gesture, like how the Maharaj did of that time, to grow that breed, to improve that breed, but not for slaughter. Because for us, this is extremely the cow, we need it for our soil. Our soil is depleting so much. We need all these animals and more to rejuvenate our soil. Where is the question of export? In fact, I would like to bring this next question to Kamlesh ji. So let's discuss about the objective of the bill, since it's not very explicitly mentioned. It seems like that it wants to regulate the infectious and contagious diseases. But really, what you feel is the objective behind this bill?
Well, uh, as you said, that is about the contagious and infectious disease to the want to regulate. But for that, already contagious disease rules 2009 are in the place to regulate the disease and regulate the vaccination timings and veterinary services and all over India. So and by exporting animal, you are in fact and importing the animals, you are in fact allowing more opportunities for such kind of disease. Because see the weather change, atmosphere change, they may not be conducive or adaptive to those other countries' weather. So all these problems can be there. So and the rule is already in place. Now, what I understand is, see, it is a like it's a colorable exercise. What you cannot do is in the front door, you can take it the same thing from the back door. Like bulls and bullocks are there, and other are not allowed here for the slaughtering. So the same animal, if you can say export it live, because the live is not banned, was restricted so far, but now we are opening that floodgate. So then in that case, if you are sending them live, the same can be slaughtered in the country where it is already not restricted. It is a free to kill any animal except a wild animal. Whether it's a it can be the dog, it can be the this monkey, it can be the even a monkey comes under wild animal, but still they are allowed. But
yes,
then the camel, all the animals can be slaughtered. Cats are also slaughtered in Korea. Dogs are also slaughtered. So those country can slaughter these animals. So this kind of we are trying to take it this advantage of that which we cannot take it in India. So according to me, this is the colorable exercise under the guise of this infectious and contagious disease we want to achieve, which we cannot do here.
I also somehow feel that probably the timing of this bill is such that the only bill I think that has been revoked in the past 8 to 9 years is the farmers bill. And farmers raise this question a lot, that cattle is destroying this, cattle is destroying that. There could be one of the reasons why the government is coming up with such a bill to please the farmers. This is what my thinking is. And I would like to ask you, Dr. Kamlesh, if this is true. This could be true if this apprehension of mine is true. Hello.
Like lost. I think it was lost for a while.
Okay. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, Kim, Dr. Kim.
Sukriti, there's one more question. Maybe we can take that one first, since it seems to be more related. So, Tilotama is asking, are there some export laws that need to be rationalized?
Rationalized as in, see,
Some,
this law does not need to be in place. Firstly, this needs to just not be there existing in the system at all. The entire exercise of this conversation, the entire objective behind this whole exercise is this only, that this is our this is our this is our pashudhan. We respect these animals. एंड इवरेस, चलिए गाय की तो अपनी एक महिमा है, लेकिन हर एक पशु की, अगर आप रिलीजियस पर्सपेक्टिव से भी सोचो, तो क्या नाग की महिमा नहीं है? क्या मंकीज की महिमा नहीं है? Every animal has played some or the other role in uh, in Vedant philosophy. तो यहाँ तो मैं फिर एम्फसाइज करूंगी कि मेरा मेरा राइट टू वर्शिप एंड फील डिग्निफाइड स्टेइंग इन इंडिया, बीइंग अ हिंदू, मेरा तो वही इन्फ्रिंज हो गया इस पूरी एक्टिविटी से, कि मैं अपने सामने ही उस गाय को एक्सपोर्ट होते हुए नंदी महाराज. So how can we dissociate all these animals from the religious perspective? None of the animals is dissociated. तो ये वाला तो लॉ होना ही नहीं चाहिए. एंड मैंने फिर ये चीज मैं रिपीट करूंगी कि हर कंट्री का जो लॉ होता है वो उसकी अपनी कल्चर के हिसाब से होता है. जो वियतनामीज लॉ है वो इंडिया में नहीं चलेगा. जो जापानीज करते हैं जरूरी नहीं है कि वो मेरे लिए यूजफुल है. ज्योग्राफी देखी जाती है, क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस देखे जाते हैं, रिलीजियस सेंटिमेंट्स देखे जाते हैं. इन सब चीजों को मद्देनजर देखते हुए ही एक कंट्री में, किसी में, स्टेट में लॉ बनता है. हम सारी की सारी चीज़ों से वेस्ट से उठाकर अपनी कंट्री पे स्टिक नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज दैट विल नॉट वर्क हियर. एंड वी हैव टू रिस्पेक्ट द फैक्ट दैट this is going to be a very strong this might come as a very strong reaction from communities. क्योंकि बकरा ईद के टाइम पर भी हमने देखा था कि जैनीज कितने कम है उनका पॉपुलेशन अगर मेजोरिटी में देखा जाए तो, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी दे केम टुगेदर एंड दे स्टेटेड कि बकरा ईद के टाइम पर हमारे एनिमल्स भाई स्लॉटर होने के लिए कहीं नहीं जाएंगे. गौरी मोलेखी रोज अप एंड गदीमाइट फेस्टिवल के लिए जो हमारे कैटल जाती थी उसको उन्होंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट से उस पर बैन लगवाया. देन दिस ऑल्सो नीड्स टू जस्ट बी आउट ऑफ द सिस्टम. इसमें कुछ हमारे को रैशनलाइज करने की, ट्वीक करने की नीड ही नहीं है. ये लॉ होना ही नहीं चाहिए. हमें नहीं देने अपने एनिमल्स.
yes, absolutely. And Kamleshji, you have played a major part in all of these things. Whatever she is mentioned, legally, you have been fighting battles after battles. From a truck to ships full of animals you have been saving. Um, आपको क्या लगता है? Where is this headed? If this takes place, this bill is enacted, then how do we, get back? What do we do?
Well, see, from environment point of view, and soil and water pollution, air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution, all those are already can be really damaged because of lot of illegal slaughterhouse also will take place here, because this bill is not only envisaged to promote the live animal but also live animal products. As such, the India is number no, one and two, one and two, one and two, and the export of meat and animal products. So now still they want to promote. It is a different altogether. Session need to discuss on this. But the subsidies, what we are giving to this sector, the subsidy was given at the time of 1994, 1995, was to create the level playing field. But now when you are number one in the world, still you want 30%, 40% subsidies. You get subsidy for the land, you get the subsidy for the water consumption, you get the subsidy for the advertisement. Even one slaughterhouse, one slaughter exporting or slaughter company, selling company is giving the advertisement in the newspaper or any other trade magazine. They get the subsidy from the government. So why do you need? It is now highly matured. At that 1994, today is not 1994. When it is when it was it needed a level playing field for a moment, if we consider. So that is another thing. Now this illegal trafficking of the animals will increase substantially. Substantially. I really also worry about the plight of these non-vegetarian communities. The community which need the non-vegetarian to consume almost every occasion and day and day. Because when the export start, the price will go up. It will be soared. I know in Bangladesh, when this Bangladesh Indian animals were going, and the slaughtering was happening there, and for the skin industry, leather industry, they needed Indian animal cows. Basically, the meat price was about 500 taka per kg. Now, once this Indian animal smuggling is stopped, the price immediately gone to the 750, 800 taka. Now here also, once you will start the export, the price will increase because they will get better price. I tell you, for the sheep, for the goat and sheep, I have seen hundreds of invoices of export. Now they bill it like still at 10 kg goat is there, then around 400 rupees. I mean 4,500 rupees per goat and sheep. Now, the moment the animal reach at the Saudi countries, they fetch 12,000 rupees for that. Same goat and sheep. I'm talking about the 10 kg average weight. So the margin is huge. People will, start exporting even not only the goat and sheep, but other also bullocks, even camels meat is, in demand, huge. So
Yes.
those animal also will be slaughtered and animal will go. Now the transportation activities also will increase. The major issue is bioterrorism, fake currency. There was the instance of transactions were used to happen in fake currencies, money laundering. Even those when they were going from the ship, then the armaments, weapons also used to go, drugs used to go. They used to open the stomach of the animal and pack with this bag of drugs, and then they will stitch the stomach and will export them with the drugs fill inside. So all these illegal activities, anti-national activities, also will increase. I have read so many magazines where when the countries from where this kind of export, rampant export and indiscriminate exports are happening, such kind of activities are common. So that's a major threat. Yes.
Hmm.
That's a very important point. In fact, Taoism, we had a discussion with PK Mishra ji, who was, at
Yes.
the border security force in West Bengal and Bangladesh border. Even he mentioned that was extremely common. Now we are talking about legalizing these things. Already through illegal, we are facing so much damage. It's unbelievable, if this happens. Any other points from
Madam,
Sukriti?
I can just add to my point. You see,
Yes.
now there is a suppose the invoice goes to around 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees, 4,500 rupees per animal. Now, during the time of their festival, Eid, etc., the same animal costs about 18,000, 20,000. Now, local price also will increase 8,000, 9,000. But the rest, that balance money comes as a terror money. Money laundering, it is by hawala. So official amount comes 1 into x into 2 x into 3 by way of hawala and money laundering. Those activity also will increase. And my one of the point I just wanted to add here, that you see, export of animal you can do when you got the excess animals. Now, the animals which are listed in this bill for the purpose of export, uh, I can tell you, the camels. The camel population is decreased
Decreasing. There is a conservation activity going on. The
37%. 37%. In case of this, uh, ponies and mules and donkeys, is about 51%. In case of dogs, it's a it's about 18%. 29% of the male cattle population. So I have got the list. Buffalo even has decreased by 42%, male buffalo. So when you have got so many depletion in the population, and your human population is increasing day by day, we have got 132 stomach to feed. They need the agriculture product, vegetations, water, and you need to rejuvenate the soil. So animals are the prime source for that. So that way also it is a totally economy it is unviable and unsustainable. So from that angle also we cannot allow the export. So this bill has to be withdrawn or scrapped rather.
Hmm.
Just
Completely.
playing the devil's advocate, we know that our honorable Prime Minister Modi is a vegetarian himself. You know, he fasts on Navratri. He's spoken against the pink revolution on many occasions. He respects cows. Everything is there in place. You know, what is it that is not allowing him to take a strong step? I just want to understand, what would be going on in his mind, to let such things even come up in the first place? Is it a very strong corporate lobby, or what is it that is driving this?
Yeah.
Of
You
course,
ask me or
anybody can
special?
Anybody
proceed.
can ask.
Yeah, yeah. See, it is. I have got the experience that you see. Really, the government is sensitive about it. Uh, to some extent, there are some compulsion, like Gate Treaty and international trade treaties, where the India is a signatory country. To some extent, there are compulsions. But at the time, I have seen in the 2015, 2014, 2015, after that Gadimai of this Gauri Muleki, I was involved in the Bangladesh cattle smuggling. So, when we approached the government and we have gone to the Supreme Court gave the order for banning this particular smuggling, but the government also took the proactive measure. Without the government support, it would not have never stopped. But now it is already almost 90% stopped. That is the government's willing was there. Thereafter, even the live animal export, when we tabled all these documents of irregularities, violations of laws, no, national and international laws, then the terrestrial animal health code, then OIE standards, all these were compromised heavily, as well as the international activity as I described. So then the government framed such kind of rules that it made virtually impossible. Now here also, if you see, the DGFT is the authority, Director General of Foreign Trade, has restricted these all animals. Even the Commerce Ministry, which who's under this custom and DGFT comes, they also have no intention to export this animal. It's the Ministry of Animal Husbandry. It's their brainchild. They want. And now they have gone to the demand to the DGFT to frame such kind of policy which can allow them to export live animal. So basically, the rightful industry like commerce industry, yeah, DGFT have never gone to this. But this is all along, animal husbandry, whose basic duty is to husbanding the animal, protect the animal rights, are proactive to export them and to get them allowed, get them slaughtered in the countries where it is allowed to slaughter. So it's
Absolutely.
really
I
agony and
remember,
unfortunate.
yeah, I remember a veterinarian talking to me, and he said that we veterinarians go against the oath what we take. You know, like how doctors are supposed to protect us from diseases, and at the time, if we are injured, the veterinarians actually end up doing the opposite, which is abuse of the animals. Because what
Yes.
Sukriti ji pointed out, the function of an animal is what we have forgotten. What nature intended it to do, we are not letting that happen. And that is why we should come back to this discussion that I was having the other day with Sukriti ji, that we don't have a national grazing policy. There is so much of land, wasteland. What earlier was gauchar land, now they have classified as wasteland. And there is no policy, there is no rules on how grazing has to be done and how soil has to be redeveloped. Just saying save soil is not going to work until unless we put these animals to work. you know so I feel at a policy level, these things are also something that we should push. Please, your inputs on this. Sukriti,
Dr.
I think.
Venkatesh, Dr. Venkatesh, do you have any inputs on this? Do you think
Yeah, I just want.
national grazing policies? I mean, this is what we feel, that we need to have a proper grazing policy, and a very this is a nail in the head put by Shivali ji, that ये सब के सब वेस्ट लैंड्स में कन्वर्ट कर दिया ऑन पेपर्स. एक इंसिडेंट है, इससे पहले कि आप बताएं, इट्स अ वेरी फनी इंसिडेंट दैट हैपेंड इन माय होम टाउन. देयर इज अ पटवारी हु सोल्ड rich businessmen a gaucher area, saying that it can be used for industrialization, and then he went out of the picture, and the matter is sub judice in Allahabad High Court from 2 years from 20 years now. This is how the village people are also becoming so callous towards their own जमीन, क्योंकि हम धरती को भी माँ मानते हैं, हम
And
गाय को भी माँ
it's
मानते
also
हैं.
practical, Sukriti ji. See, agriculture, animal husbandry and agriculture were not separate. Today we have separated the two. Both were supposed to be complementing each other. Now agriculture is also losing, even if you have the green revolution, so called, and the dairy business is also failing despite having a white revolution. So until unless we let the nature do her function, which is, and we learn how to manage it, I don't think it is headed anywhere. And the orientation of people towards milk and milk alone, beef is the other side of that. you
Of
know
course.
uh,
So, but then
if
let
we
me tell
take,
you
yeah,
that we have demarcated gauchers. गौचर ज़मीनें हैं और वो डिमार्केटेड हैं. अगर आप सब डिविजनल मैजिस्ट्रेट के सामने फाइल खोलोगे ना, तो आपको अपने डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कम से कम 100 से ज़्यादा गौचर ज़मीनें मिल जाएंगी. पर वो वेस्ट लैंड में टेक्निक ऑन पेपर नहीं हुई हुई, लेकिन वो वैसे वेस्ट लैंड में कन्वर्ट हुई हुई हैं. पीपल हैव मेड इट अ डंप यार्ड और अ लैंडफिल. तो ये किसकी जिम्मेदारी बनती है? इफ डॉक्टर वेंकटेश वुड लाइक टू आंसर दैट.
Yeah, couple of things I would like to bring it to the notice of all of us. Number one is recently the Supreme Court dismissed PIL, which prayed for the animals to be declared as a legal entity. As we discussed earlier, the current position is the animals are just chattels. They are just property. They don't have any rights. Yeah, of course, there is a prevention of cruelty to animal act and all those things are there. Constitution talks about compassion and all those things. But the fact of the matter is, the bottom line is the animals are properties, which has to be changed. Which, like Kashif ji said, it's totally against our ethos, our culture, our tradition. We don't treat animals as properties, we treat them as gods, so this notion that the animals are mere property has to be taken out of the picture. So when that goes, everything else goes with that. So that's number one. So unfortunately, the PIL was dismissed by the Supreme Court. But the interesting thing is, many years ago, the Uttarakhand High Court, they had passed a beautiful judgment, which gave legal rights. It's a legal entity to animals. And following that, the Punjab and Haryana High Court also gave a judgment. The animal husbandry has gone on appeal against those judgment, and the appeal is pending in the Supreme Court. So this is a very good fertile land for all of us interested in animal welfare, animal rights, Go Seva, whatever groups, is to highlight this, that animals do have rights and they have to be there, legalized. This is number one. Number two, regarding the wasteland and grazing policy, um, it is, pardon me for using a strong word, it is height of human ego to call a land a wasteland. I don't think nature created anything waste. No land is a wasteland. It may be misused, it may be abused, it may grow or not grow certain things which we like for our human consumption, but I don't think any land is a wasteland. This classification of wasteland is a huge injustice, perpetrated by the colonial masters, and we are faithfully following those masters even in 2023. There is a huge, Kamlesh Share is smiling. I can see the huge government endeavor, and there is a huge lot of money is being spent on generating this wasteland atlas, and they have very beautiful portal and everything. You can see that. So this classification has to go, according to me, because it's a height of human ego to call something waste, which nature created if you are a nature enthusiast, or God created if you are a spiritual person or religious person like me. I don't think God created anything waste. To call
Yes,
it a
exactly.
waste is
Even plastic is not waste for
huge
that matter.
misnomer. Okay, but having said that, the beauty of English language is it has multiple convoluted meanings. So if you go and use look at the word waste, it has another meaning also. Okay, so I will leave it as a surprise for all of us to go and check what that meaning
Thank
for
you.
waste. If you have to go and check the etymology of waste, you can see that. Okay, that's number. And the last point I would like to is about the national that. Grazing policy. I think it's high time that there is a policy at the national level for grazing. We have been lacking on this thing for too long a period. Okay, so this grazing policy will have touch points with Adivasi rights, the rights of the natives, the animal rights, native habitat, conservation of animals, everything. You can name any parameter, you can see touch points with this grazing policy. Okay, we
So this
have
is what we
culturally
need instead of
demarcated.
exploiting. Yeah. Sorry, sir. Please continue.
Yep, absolutely. See, culturally, the lands were classified differently based on the usage, function, and what purpose it serves. So this grazing has been going on in our culture, communities, time immemorial, but it has not taken a formal, legal, official, color yet.
Absolutely. I would
So
like
this
to
is
add
high
one
time.
point.
We have to do that.
Which country has the largest arable land in the world? It is not China, it is not USA, it is not Russia, it is India. And why is it? Is because we were pastoral communities and we knew how to graze. Shri Krishna came and taught us how to graze and not overgraze, So it runs in our blood. And if we don't do that, if I were to quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, there was an asura called Trinvarta. Trin means a blade of grass, and Varta is the one who depends on it. So he was basically a herder. And this demon, It is, see, all these things have been told to us in stories. They have very deep meaning, you know. So this Trinvartra Asur, he comes and he goes around in a whirlwind, and he rises up. You know, he takes Krishna in his this thing, and he rises up. Um, and of course, Krishna kills him, and then he falls down on a thud, down on some hilly mountain, you know, somewhere. But if you look at it, there is something called the Dust Bowl tragedy that happened in the USA in 1934, um, which was basically, it was a grazing area. What they converted it into farmlands, and they had a huge dust storm which literally wiped out 25% population of that area. 4 lakh square kilometer area was wiped out because of that one single dust storm. So we think that we are making laws, like Sukriti, you said, laws of nature are so much more powerful. The one moment nature decides, it can just wipe out everything. So it's better that we align ourselves with the laws of nature and preserve our grasslands, preserve our lands through planned holistic grazing, for example, like how Alan Savory is doing world over, and rejuvenating the land. Exactly our culture. So I think we definitely will welcome Sanjay Amanji. He is joining us from Gau Bharat Bharati, Mumbai. um, Sir, would you like to add some points about the proposed live animal export bill that we're discussing here? Welcome. Mumbai. Um, Sir, would you like to add some points about the proposed live animal export bill?
So much. Uh, क्या मेरी आवाज सुन रहे हैं आप?
जी, थोड़ा क्लियर नहीं है, बट
हेलो हेलो जी जी आप जी जी तो ये एनिमल हस्बेंड्री का जो अभी नोटिफिकेशन जारी हुआ है लाइव स्टॉक एनिमल्स को लेकर के, वो एक तरह से उस पर सरकार को फिर से विचार करने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि ये क्लियर नहीं है कि वो असल में कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं। मुझे जो लग रहा है कि एक बार गवर्नमेंट को फिर से इस पर विचार करना चाहिए और इस जीआर पर तुरंत जो है एनिमल हस्बेंड्री डिपार्टमेंट के जो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर हैं, मिस्टर पुरुषोत्तम रूपाला को इस मामले में सोच करके रोक लगाना चाहिए जब तक ये क्लियर न हो जाए कि असल में एनिमल हस्बेंड्री चाहता क्या है।
जी जी बिल्कुल। वही कमलेश सर समझा रहे थे, व्हाट आर द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, एंड इट लुक्स लिटिल कलरेबल, they want to play around. The objective is not very clear. So thank you for your input. Now, what is the way ahead, and what is all of your message for the common people who are listening
गाय के
to us? आम
गाय को
जनता क्या कर सकते हैं हम लोग
तो
इसके लिए?
पहले
What is the way ahead, and what is all of your message for the common people who are listening to us? आम जनता क्या कर सकते हैं हम लोग?
अब यहाँ भारत देश जो है, जैसे मैं आपका कन्वर्सेशन सुन रहा था कि भारत देश के अंदर सबसे ज्यादा गौधन इंडिया के अंदर है हमारे, तो वो उसको एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे तो उसको स्लॉटर हाउस में लेकर जाएंगे, कहाँ लेकर क्या करेंगे, वो सबसे पहले क्लियर होना चाहिए।
राइट सर। कमलेश सर, आप प्लीज इसको कंक्लूड करते हैं कि व्हाट इज द आस्क फ्रॉम द कॉमन पीपल, व्हाट कैन वी डू, एनीबडी हु इज लिसनिंग टू अस, आवर व्यूअर्स, वो क्या कर सकते हैं हम इसको इसके अगेंस्ट बात करने के लिए? हाउ शुड वी, व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स वी नीड टू टेक? आप म्यूट पे है कमलेश जी, कैन यू प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ?
Such bills on varieties of issue had come in past also, which was not in the interest of mass and public, but might be the brainchild of some bureaucrat and officer, and came into the picture, and it was floated those devil's ideas. But with the public proper protest as well as mindful representation, not out of sentiment or either out of aggression or the insulting government, or I think go on arrogant, not in that manner, but really on the realistic ground with facts and figures. We need to represent the government, how the disastrous such bills can be, for the animal as well as the agrarian communities, as well as the Pashupalak and all, and it is not in the interest of the nation, so it has to be withdrawn. Another thing, but for that the people has to reach to the right resource. People has to right to reach should reach to the officer, concerned officers. So that why the awareness is required. Maximum awareness is needed, and the people should also take the initiative. Should not show any indifference or laxity or lameness. They should reach to the concerned officer and represent themselves and their ideas, and also pressurize the government. One more thing I can tell you is 2024 is the national election year, where this government cannot afford to bring such kind of bill. No government can afford, where you can allow them to export the bull bullock साहब जो नंदी महाराज कहते हैं, उसको लाइव एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए, I mean, no people can afford it. So that would be very difficult for them. Only thing is, we should approach the government, and we should write the letters by social media, various platforms. We should use it, and we should read to the government and try to explain them. Even the protest is required at a different level of stage. But then I am sure that we will achieve our goal and objective, and the bill has to scrap rather.
Thank you for that guidance, Kamlesh ji. I think in the comment section or in the description box of this video, we will leave all the important email IDs where people can write to, and the main takeaways, after today's discussion and based on all of your research, I will put it across in the description. Please make use of it and send emails. Do you think it's a wise thing to go and approach the animal husbandry department locally of people who are watching? Yeah.
Yeah, they can. You see, all cannot reach to the center. So they should give it to the center through the local state animal welfare boards, state director of animal husbandry, state animal husbandry ministry, wherever they can go. When you have to give some representation or some your objections or something to the president of India, they go to the collector and give. Like that, you see, and they goes through the proper channel and reach to the concerned authority. So that way, that can be given to all these authorities. But the best way is the email is there. We need to only address on the email which is given in the their bill covering letter. The email ID is given. Some people are addressing to the concerned minister Purushottam Rupala or some other officers. I think those will could go to the trace. So the dedicated email ID is given. Those email ID has to be addressed, and plus the social media platform like Twitter, like Facebook, Instagram, all this also can be addressed to, because they definitely the ministers and the departments are monitoring all these platforms. So I think those are the ways and means to deal with the situation.
So I would like to take the inputs of everybody here and come up with one hashtag that all of us will be using on Twitter so that we are all on the same page. Live animal export ban, shall we put it, or what do you prefer? Anybody, please? Sukriti,
So we
you
can
are the
say
youngest.
there
You
is
know.
already PFA is already doing hashtag say no to live ban export bill.
Okay, say no
Or
to
we can but I think we can have something different like scrap non scrap
scrap and live animal export.
yes, we can
Just
use the
that
Bill,
word
much is
scrap.
enough.
bill.
Yeah, that would be very
Live
good.
animal export bill.
Yeah,
I don't think we
and
should be
this
diplomatic in our communication. We
absolutely,
want it to be
absolutely.
scrapped.
Yeah. Scrap live animal export bill. Yeah. So it looks like this. And I request all of you all to please use this hashtag. And, I will also be posting a number of Twitter handles, a number of email IDs. Please send in your comments. Each one of them really, really helps us achieve this. And
100%.
thank you, all of you, for joining us tonight for this discussion. Really appreciate this. And let's hope, we continue this momentum, and we will not let it come. Scrap live animal export bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani ji, and thank you all participants.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.